The Borley Rectory was a Victorian mansion located in Essex, Great Britain, that has been called the most haunted place in England. The large Gothic-style rectory in the village of Borley had been said to be haunted since it was first built in 1862 by Reverend Henry Dawson Bull. He moved in a year after being named rector of the parish. The house replaced the former rectory, on the same site that had been destroyed by fire in 1841. It was later enlarged by an addition to a wing in the house, to accommodate Bull's family of 14 children. Once Bull and his family had moved into the newly constructed rectory, strange things started happening almost immediately. The first of these paranormal events occurred in 1863. They were said to hear running water inside, even though the house didn't have indoor plumbing. Ethel, one of the children, was said to have heard footsteps and knocking on her door, and was plagued by lack of sleep due to the strange occurrences. The knocking grew louder over the course of several nights, until Ethel felt a slap on her cheek, and was left with a red mark across her face. Henry Dawson Ellis Bull died in 1892, and his son the Reverend Harry Bull took over the rectory. On the evening of July 28, 1900, the four daughters of the rector, and Henry Dawson Ellis Bull, reported seeing what they thought was the ghost of a nun. At twilight, about 40 yards away from the house, they tried to approach her, and tried to talk to her, but she disappeared as they got closer. The local organist recalled that the family at the rectory were very convinced that they had seen an apparition on several occasions. Several people claimed to have witnessed a variety of strange incidents, such as a phantom coach driven by two headless horsemen, over the next 4 decades. One early morning in the autumn of 1927, at first light, a carpenter by the name of Cartwright was passing by the old rectory, when he saw a young nun standing by the drive gate. The next day he saw her again. He said she looked like an ordinary Sister of Mercy, and did not speak. On the following Friday morning, at the same time and place, he saw her once more. He noticed that she looked tired. The next time he saw her was on the following Wednesday. Her eyes were closed, and he thought she looked ill. Cartwright decided he would ask her if she was okay, and if she needed any assistance. He turned back to do so, but she had vanished. He heard no sound, but assumed she must have went silently into the rectory. At this time, though Cartwright did not know it, the building was empty. The last time he saw the nun was again on Friday morning, and she was standing as usual by the drive gate. He approached to tell her good morning, but before he reached the gate, she had vanished. He stood for a moment, puzzled and amazed. He did not see her leave. 1 second she was there, the next she was gone. It was later found out that area was known as the Nun's Walk. After an investigation, all the clues pointed to the theory that a French nun named Marie Lair had been brutally murdered by Henry Waldegrave, and that she had been buried in a cellar beneath the rectory, according to which a monk from the monastery conducted a relationship with a nun from a nearby convent. After their affair was discovered, the monk was executed and the nun reportedly bricked up alive in the convent. They suggested that the investigators should dig for her remains. The excavations in which Harry Price, the well-known psychic investigator at the time, presided, and under whose circumstances the Borley past was unfolded, it started on August 17, 1943. Human remains were quickly discovered. Subjected to professional analysis, they were confirmed to have been those of a young woman. Further digging produced a pendant and plaque, the kind attached to the rosaries worn by nuns at the time. Then on June 9, 1928, Henry Bull, the rector, died, and the rectory again became vacant. In the following year, on October 2, the Reverend Guy Eric Smith and his wife moved into the home. Soon after moving in, Mrs. Smith, while cleaning out a cupboard, came across a brown paper package containing the skull of a young woman. Shortly after, the family reported a variety of strange events, including the sounds of servant bells ringing, despite their being disconnected, lights appearing in windows, and unexplained footsteps. In addition, Mrs. Smith believes she saw a horse-drawn carriage at night. The Smiths contacted the newspaper, the Daily Mirror, asking to be put in touch with the Society for Psychic Research. On June 10, 1929, The newspaper sent a reporter, who then wrote the first in a series of articles detailing the hauntings of the Borley. The paper also arranged for Harry Price to make his first visit to the house. This would ultimately make him famous. He arrived on the 12th of June and immediately claimed a phenomena. Things such as the throwing of stones, a vase and other objects. Spirit messages were tapped out from the frame of a mirror. Then they took on a more violent turn. The occurrences increased in frequency. Price reported seeing the ghost of the late Henry Bull, the original rector of Borley Rectory. Price would later go on to write a book based on his work he had done there, entitled The Most Haunted House in England, 10 Years Investigation of Borley Rectory. He would return to the building during the 30s, when he took out a year-long rental agreement. The owners of the property recruited 48 official observers, mostly students, who spent time, mainly during the weekends, at the rectory with instructions to report any phenomena that occurred there. The researchers claimed to have made contact with the entities, most notably the nun spirit, which constantly pleaded with them to assist her in escaping from the mortal world. In one of the most shocking findings during a séance, a ghostly voice predicted that a terrible fire would soon take place, and all the spirits would join. Price brought in several mediums and they conducted a series of séances. In one instance of 1938, a medium named Helen Glanville was reported as having made successful contact with a nun and an unidentified male spirit. The spirit also predicted the rectory's future destruction by fire on the 27th of March 1938. The following year the Reverend Lionel Foister, the first cousin of the Bulls, and his wife Mary Ann, moved into the rectory with their daughter Adelaide. Lionel Foister began to write an account of strange incidents that occurred between when he and his family moved in, and up till October 1935, he sent his accounts to Harry Price. They included such things as bell ringing, windows shattering for no reason, stones and bottles being thrown through the air, wall writing, and their daughter being locked in a room with no key. Mary Ann Foister reported to her husband a wide variety of poltergeist attacks that included her being violently thrown from her bed. In one incident, Adelaide was attacked by what she described as something horrible. Foister tried twice to conduct an exorcism, but it did not prove successful. In the middle of the first exorcism, he was struck by a baseball-sized stone. Because of the publicity in the Daily Mirror, these incidents attracted the attention of several psychic researchers, who after investigation were unanimous in suspecting that they were caused unconsciously by Mary Ann Foister. The Foisters left the Borley in October 1935 as a result of Lionel's ill health. On the 27th of February 1939, the rectory's new owner, a Captain W. H. Gregson, was moving into the property when an oil lamp was kicked over, and the house was set on fire. The rectory could not be saved, and the house was engulfed by flames. Although reported as an accident, upon investigation, the insurance company deemed Gregson deliberately set the fire, and the building was left as rubble. It was never to be rebuilt again. Afterwards the property was renamed the Priory. It is suggested that he planned to cash in on the rectory's history, and turn the house into a tourist destination. The rectory was finally demolished in 1944, and even in the process of the demolishing, ghostly visions reportedly continued. Harry Price returned to the site with his researcher Cynthia Ledsham, and a photographer David Sherman, with the intent of gathering images for an article that was to be published in Life magazine. The group was not able to approach the building during demolition. Photographs were taken of the front, as the building was slowly razed to the ground. Price then published another claim about the inherent darkness of the Borley. Writing of the end of Borley Rectory, he said, "The Borley has been the subject of many books, TV programs, and several movies, including the 2017, part animated film Borley Rectory, The Most Haunted House in England. It was written and directed by Ashley Thorpe, and starred Reese Smith and Jonathan Rigby. In 2021, the feature film The Ghosts of Borley Rectory was released. It was written and directed by Stephen Smith, and starred Julian Sands, best known for his work in the films Warlock, Arachnophobia, and Boxing Hail Lena. It also starred Toya Wilcox, Christopher Ellison, and Colin Baker, of Doctor Who fame. Some skeptics claim the hauntings could have been related to natural events, such as animals, the acoustics of the building, and the wind. While other researchers claim the events were real. The children of the Reverend Harry Bull, who lived in the house before Lionel Foister, claimed to have seen nothing while living there, and were surprised when they found out the rectory has been described as England's most haunted house. So what do you think about the hauntings of the Borley Rectory? Tell us what you think in the comments below. And as always, please like and subscribe.